So our deep dive today, it actually started with a pretty simple question.
Huh.
Are those high-tech electrostatic window screens really effective against PM 2.5?
Right. But as we followed the sources, we were led away from that solution, the screens, and really toward the root cause.
Exactly. Our mission here is to analyze how this deeply ingrained tradition in Taiwan is, well, running headlong into verifiable, documented scientific fact, specifically around air pollution.
And this pollution isn't some abstract concept. The source is open with really dramatic visual evidence.
Oh yeah, the TV host on Lion's Head Mountain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's expecting this famous, beautiful view of Taipei, but instead, all he sees is that haze covers everything. They're using terms like purple alert. Cool.
Which just sounds severe.
It is, and the sources note the worst of it is consistently concentrated in central and southern Taiwan.
You know, that scene really mirrors the personal story from Professor Lin that started this whole thing.
The trauma he described.
Yes. He said he was traumatized by the air quality during ancestor worship 7 years ago. He'd just gotten back from living somewhere pollution-free, and the contrast was just jarring.
And that pushed him to write an essay arguing to end the custom of burning joss paper.
Right. And this is where it gets fascinating, because the official reaction to this kind of thing seems to actively fuel the myth that it's not a problem.
Oh, absolutely. The material points to this one incident. A resident was caught burning joss paper in an apartment stairwell in New Taipei.
Okay, so you'd expect a clear response from the Environmental Protection Bureau, the EPA.
You would. But instead, get this, the news headline quoted the EPA saying they could fine the resident only if it caused air pollution.
If it caused air pollution.
It's astonishing. That single phrase, sonjia, is essentially the government providing a loophole for denial. Professor Lin was, rightly shocked.
It's like asking if fire is hot.
It's like he was questioning if the EPA genuinely thinks burning paper for hours doesn't contribute to smog. That ambiguity creates the space for the practice to continue.
Which brings us right to the core of this academic debate.
Mm-hmm.
It's feelings versus facts.
Mm-hmm.
On one side, you have these deeply emotional reasons. News reports quote people saying things like, "It feels strange if we don't burn it." It's a tradition, a comfort.
And you have to hold that subjective feeling up against objective, confirmed facts. The source material references the World Health Organization, confirming this pollution directly contributes to major diseases.
We're talking lung cancer, heart disease.
And stroke. So this is where the critical thinking comes in. Is the temporary discomfort of breaking a tradition really worth the documented risk of, say, lung cancer?
It seems like a pretty clear choice when you put it that way. And the optimistic part is that temples are already proving it doesn't have to be a trade-off.
Right. Tradition and environmental health can coexist.
Look at the Tulian Unsheng Temple in Yunlin. It's magnificent, but also notably clean. And over 50 years ago, they engraved a rule right on their pillars.
Wash mind, worship Buddha, forbid burning joss paper. I mean, that's incredible. 56 years ago.
They did it to save money and prevent pollution. And it's not just them.
No, Taipei's Xingtian Temple is another great example. Their website confirms it. They advocate for no joss paper or incense to keep the environment clean for everyone.
But it's not always a simple decision, especially financially. The Huludi Nanshan Fu Temple found that out. They stopped burning back in 2007.
Yeah, and the reason was that the ash was coating all the cars parked nearby and just ruining the air quality. But that decision was monumental.
Why's that?
Well, the source material points out that the income from selling joss paper was significant. It funds everything: maintenance, staff, community programs.
So they were giving up a major revenue stream.
A huge one. And other temples were apparently shocked by the decision. It just shows the massive sacrifice required to put public health ahead of an entrenched custom.
So, what does this all mean for you listening? We started with a simple product question about window screens. But this deep dive uncovered that the real conflict isn't smog versus technology. It's the cultural and even legal loopholes that allow tradition to bypass verifiable public health data.
Indeed. And considering the successful temple reforms we've discussed, which prove, really, that faith can be practiced without the environmental fallout, what deeply rooted cultural or, even personal habit do you prioritize over evidence-based health warnings, and what might that habit actually be costing you or your community?
That's definitely a valuable question to sit with until our next deep dive.